What if the reason investing feels confusing isn't the market, but the way risk is framed for you? As we move through this deck together, notice how each slide quietly answers one question most people never slow down to ask. If this helps sharpen your thinking, stay with the channel and subscribe. This is exactly the kind of grounded investing clarity we build here. Turning to the first slide, what are penny stocks? Unlocking the potential and pitfalls of low-priced shares. The title itself sets the tension: potential versus pitfalls. Penny stocks are rarely neutral. The quote here, risk comes from not knowing what you're doing, frames the whole journey. It's not saying risk is bad, it's saying ignorance is expensive. And that's the real promise of this deck, replacing guesswork with awareness. The PDF mentioned here, the link is in the description, exists so you don't have to rely on memory alone. As we land on the agenda slide, notice the progression. First, of what penny stocks actually are, then why they attract people, then why they hurt people. Only after that do we talk about strategy. That order matters. Many listeners skip straight to tactics and wonder why results don't stick. This agenda quietly says understanding before action. Does that mirror how you usually approach investing, or do you jump ahead too fast? Now, slide 3 asks a deceptively simple question. What is a penny stock? Shares under $5, usually tiny companies, often traded on OTC markets. And here's the important reframing. Low price does not mean low risk. That last bullet corrects a common mistake. People see cheap and think safe. In plain terms, cheap just means small and unstable. If you've ever bought something just because it was on sale and regretted it later, you already understand this dynamic. Slide 4 explores why penny stocks pull people in. Low barrier to entry means you feel included. Asymmetric upside sounds exciting. Small bet, big dream. Early access to new sectors feeds the sense of being ahead. And then there's the psychological thrill. This is where many listeners slip without noticing. Ask yourself, are you investing or chasing a feeling? Taleb's idea of small bets works only when the downside is truly controlled. If your emotions aren't controlled, the asymmetry disappears. Slide 5 brings the counterweight. The hidden costs. Low liquidity means you may not be able to exit when you want. Limited transparency means you're often guessing. Pump and dump schemes exploit urgency. Emotional decision-making ties it all together. This slide answers the agenda's second promise, why people get hurt. If you've ever held a losing trade just because you didn't want to admit you were wrong, this slide is talking directly to you. The fix starts with rules, not hope. That leads naturally into slide 6. Risk is a skill. Speculation without rules is gambling, simple as that. Volatility doesn't punish everyone, it rewards preparation. Discipline beats prediction every time. Building on the previous slide, this reframes risk from something to avoid into something to train. Ryan Holiday's idea fits here. Obstacles aren't the enemy, lack of structure is. Where in your investing do you rely on prediction instead of process? Slide 7 gets practical. How to spot promise. Healthy balance sheets, credible leadership, real products, explainable volume. Each bullet filters out noise. This responds directly to the transparency problem from slide 5. In simple terms, if you can't explain why interest is rising, walk away. Graham's principles remind us that valuation and substance still matter, even in small stocks. Are you checking fundamentals or just charts and chatter? Slide 8 deepens that with strategy. Position sizing over conviction means you don't bet big just because you feel strongly. Predefined exits protect you from yourself. Catalyst-driven entries keep timing rational. Journaling forces honesty. This slide fixes a common listener mistake: overconfidence after a win. If one trade could wipe out your account, your sizing is off. That's the adjustment. Slide 9 zooms out to history. Some small companies grow up. Most don't. Hype leaves clues if you're paying attention. Ethics matter long term. This connects back to the opening tension, potential versus pitfalls. James Clear's point lands here. Systems outlast motivation. If your system depends on excitement, it won't survive boredom. Ask yourself, could your approach last 5 quiet years? Slide 10 is the action bridge. Try this week. Paper trade one stock, no money, just discipline. Read one SEC filing, train your eye. Set one hard risk rule, protect your future self. Write one reflection, slow your thinking. These are small, doable actions. If you're overwhelmed, that's a signal you've been trying to do too much at once. Slide 11 intentionally slows everything down with a question. What attracts you more, the upside or the story you tell yourself about it? Sit with that. Many investing mistakes are really storytelling mistakes. You fall in love with a narrative and stop checking facts. Catching that habit is a breakthrough moment. On the closing slide, the message sharpens. Penny stocks are teachers. They reward patience, not urgency. Knowledge is the real edge. Templeton's quote, "This time it's different," is a warning against self-deception. Markets change, but human behavior repeats. The PDF link appears again here, so you can revisit these ideas calmly without pressure. Finally, the transparency slide reminds you this is education, not advice. That matters. Responsibility stays with you, and that's empowering, not limiting. If this walkthrough clarified how you think about risk, strategy, or your own habits, subscribe to the channel. These conversations build over time, just like good investing does.